Hi, this is the second video in case you want to make stripes on your mitten, kind of like the stripes on the mitten that I have that I showed you. Okay, so I've traced and cut out my pieces. One tip, if you're tracing something that is on a dark paper, trace it with a white colored pencil or a yellow colored pencil so you'll be able to see it. And then I just traced and cut this out with a regular pencil. So no matter how well you trace and cut, you're going to be able to see those lines. So turn them over so that you can't see those lines anymore, your tracing lines. Okay, I would like to make pink stripes on my blue mitten. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I need to put it this way so that the stripes will go off the edge of my mitten. And I don't want stripes that are too big because the mitten is not that big. And also, I don't want stripes that are too tiny because they will be really hard to glue on. So I am going to make my stripes about this size. Now, I want to save a little bit of pink for my polar bear, so I'm not going to use all of the pink. Okay, the next step is I'm going to put glue on my mitten. I'm going to actually draw glue on my mitten, and then I'm going to lay my paper stripes on it. The reason I put the glue on the mitten instead of on the stripes is I'm not exactly sure where to stop with the glue on the stripes, and I don't want to get glue all over the place coming off the edges. So make sure you leave a little space, and you're going to go ahead and draw your stripes like that. They look pretty good, right? And then you're going to go ahead and lay your stripes on top of your mitten, like this. Oops, I have one extra stripe. Maybe I'll be able to use that for something a little later. Okay. Now, I would go ahead and let this dry. So, for the purposes of the video, you probably don't want to sit there and stare at this while it dries. That doesn't sound like fun. But I will go ahead and cut the edges of the stripes off while it's still wet. But when you do it, if you're making stripes on your mitten, make sure it's dry before you start cutting. Everything will turn out better. So then you flip it over and you just cut off the edge of each stripe where it comes off. You can tell I'm kind of being careful with this, right? And of course it would be better if it was dry, but who wants to watch a video of glue drying? Probably no one. And I'm trying to be a little careful because they're wet and I don't want them to move. And guess what? Now I have a nice striped mitten. Okay, next step. On my striped mitten, I want to go ahead and glue the cuff to the top. Now, I don't want to glue the cuff down really low because that doesn't look good, and plus it will make my mitten really tiny. So when I put the glue on my mitten, I'm putting it right here at the edge, right at the very edge. And then I'm going to make sure that it's not the pencil side. I want the pencil side on the glue, the nice side showing. I'm going to go ahead and put that like that and kind of press it down a little bit and then leave that alone and let it dry. Okay, while that's drying, I'm going to make my animal. So I told you before that for this particular sample, I want to make a polar bear. Now, I don't have to make a whole entire polar bear. All I need to do is make a polar bear head with the ears and 2 little paws that can be hanging over the edges of my mitten, okay? But I want to make it about the right size. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to see that about the same width of this, but a little smaller, would be a good width for my polar bear head. I'm going to go ahead and sketch a round shape. And it depends what animal you're making, what you want your head to look like. I'm going to see how I think it looks, because this is going to be the back. So I can make changes now, and no one will ever know, right? Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to hold it up to here. Yep, that looks good. I need a little room on each side for the paws. Then I'm going to cut it out. And after it's cut out, I will turn it over so you can't see the pencil lines. And I will add details. Now the one thing that you can use, I'm going to cut that off so it's easier to cut out, is a dark marker. And I like to use permanent marker because I have found that they don't smear very much. And sometimes when I use regular markers and then I accidentally touch it and it's not dry and it smears, and then I'm not happy. But you use whatever you have, but if you do use regular marker, not permanent marker, be careful about the smears. Okay, now I want my paws to be about the same size, and they're just going to be little ovals. So you can draw them first if you want to, but I'm just going to cut out a couple of little oval shapes and see if I make them the right size. If they don't seem like they're the right size, hey, guess what? I'll cut out other ones, or I'll cut a little off if they're too. What do you think? Those look fine to me. That one won't lift up. There we go. Yeah, those look cute. If I add some claws on those and a little face and all, that guy will look like a polar bear. So for my face, I think what I'm going to do is, I could make my nose out of marker, or I could make it out of paper, and I could use this blue. I think I might make my polar bear have a little blue nose, because that's what I have. And same thing, you guys, if I ever make anything that isn't right, then I just try again. You could draw that first if you want to. I kind of like my little blue nose. What do you guys think? For the eyes, I think I will also make my eyes blue. Now, for your eyes, if you don't have a white animal, I would suggest you make white eyes and then color in with black or even navy blue. That's what I did. Oops, I need to make 2 eyes and I want them the same size. So I am going to cut 2 at once. Bet you already know that trick. Okay. I might end up doing a little something to those eyes, adding a little white in there later, because to me they look kind of flat right now. Probably they look a little bit flat to you too. Okay, now for the ears, the inside of the ears, here's what you can do. Whatever animal that you're making, it might have ears, and you might want to make the inside pink. So if you do this, trace your ear without getting pencil on it, and then you cut out smaller on the inside. See how I didn't cut right along the line there? I cut smaller. Then you'll get 2 little ear insides that are just exactly the right size. Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to keep going in another video, but for now I'm going to pause and let you go ahead and catch up with all those steps. If you're making a striped mitten and any kind of animal, those are the steps for the striped mitten. So go ahead and try that.